What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel for a live show, a quick one, unless Di Marcio has some crazy breaking news we can discuss. But I'm getting a feeling that's not going to be the case. Going off how the day uh, basically uh, went. Um, Let me see. Yeah, because it was kind of a quiet day. Apparently, it was a day that everybody was at the Continassa doing uh, nothing. Apparently, just meeting. Because it was the first day of Giuntoli, because he was signing his contract, a 5-year deal, and they just met, discussed things. Apparently, and that's kind of the day. Because at the start of the week, or maybe excuse me, at the end of last week, so Sunday, I think, the news came out that Mana was expected to be in London this week. That got, not confirmed by Romeo Cresti. So, going off that news, I'm assuming it's been a quiet 2 days. And just going off the reports, basically. But it's the first day of Giuntoli in the job, at basically he's actually looking at the structure of the club now, and who is our vice president and the actual president, who nobody knows, cares about. They don't speak. They have absolutely no influence in the game. So Giuntoli is kind of the the guy leading all this now, because he was chosen by Elkan and he got the keys, basically, and he needs to steer this train that's gone off the rails back on the rails, get them back on track. And it starts with selling players, and I'm still waiting for some real news, because Romeo came out saying there was no meeting in London, but there will be a conference call to actually see if West Ham are really serious about bringing Zakaria in. According to reports, they are serious, so that's good, I guess. But things need to pick up, and selling Zakaria, only Zakaria, excuse me, is probably not enough. He is a guy that maybe out of all of the outgoings of the players we really want the club to leave, I think he's probably the one with, or should be the one that's the most easiest to move on. Because for McKennie, it's quiet. Like, it's really really quiet. I also struggle to believe anyone putting up 25 million for McKennie at this moment in time, if it's not the Premier League. So Zakaria is the main guy at this moment in time to actually be sold. It's just it's when West Ham really that serious, and the Declan Rice thing hasn't not been confirmed completely yet, so maybe that plays a part. Maybe they're just waiting to finalize, excuse me, the Declan Rice or Arsenal deal before they actually splash. I'm gonna say splash, but like, it's not splashing money on Zakaria, but before they actually make a move on just any player in general. In this case, Zakaria. So let's see. But at this moment in time, he's the kind of the number one player outgoing, or like the closest to leaving the club, because the rumors surrounding the other players like Chiesa and Vlahovic and Bremer are just they're just speculations at this moment in time. There's no real nothing concrete. And I think that's what Romeo Agressi also said today or yesterday. He said, like, there's talks about these players potentially moving and leaving, but as of now, like, there's nothing you can actually hold up against the wall and like pin it down. And it's like, Newcastle are really interested. There are talks. Like, there's actually nothing. It's just rumors, basically. So it's Zakaria. The other guy that could leave, I talked about McKennie. That's completely quiet. Completely nothing. The other player we are trying to move on, came back from loan, is Arthur, and he spoke today, and he was very honest. Like, he has a contract. He prefers to go to the Premier League. I saw somewhere He doesn't want to go to the Saudi league, which is your own choice, I guess. So apparently he, like, going off that statement, I think he has an offer from the Saudi. For the club that would be great. But if he doesn't want to join um, that league, then, or like not the Bundesliga as well, I saw a report. That's his choice. But I think he will be moved on. I think he kind of made that clear. His agent made that clear like weeks ago, like months ago, said like he's coming back, but with Allegri, there's no future at the club, and there should not be a future at the club. Um, I saw a funny report saying that nobody, or like we cannot sell Arthur because he's overpriced. He's not over. Yeah, he is overpriced, but it's because the price we got him for. That's the biggest issue. Like we can sell him for 5 million or 10 million, and clubs will buy him, but the the loss the club will take, they cannot take at this moment in time. Actually, never, but especially at this moment in time, that's the issue. So the price that's set and that's slightly above 30 million is to actually kind of break even. That's the only reason the price is at 30 million. There's no, the reason is not that we value or we think Arthur is worth 30 million euros. He's worth 30 million euros on the books. That's the only reason. And no team is going to pay that. Like, let's be completely honest. He's on 6 million euros, 5.5. That's also ridiculous. So he's going to be hard to move on. Maybe a loan deal, and probably we're going to end up paying part of his wage, something like that. I would be stunned if we actually loan him out and somebody else pays the entire wage. And if we move him on completely, I will be, wow. Like, wow, that's actually insane. Going off the season he had, or season he didn't have basically, with all the injuries. It's it's quite significant, But he spoke, and he's gotta leave. I think that's kind of obvious now. That's kind of obvious now. Let me see. Hey Sam, I'm good. Thanks for asking. Good evening. Yana saying preseason starts in a few days and we only made one signing yet. I understand the situation, but we need to up the pace. I think the pace will be upped if the pace on the outgoings gets upped. I think that's the only reason. We need to move on players before we can bring players in. And I'm a bit, not disappointed. I'm a bit surprised because I thought at this point we would have more news about the players moving, and we kind of have nothing besides Kulusevski, but he was already gone, and the players that left who are out of contract, Cuadrado, Di Maria, Paredes, we did nothing. Yeah, we retained Milik, but it all depends on the outgoings, and that's again like I'm waiting. Like I've said on every single daily video or live, I'm waiting till the day the bomb drops and the money starts rolling and we will lose our heads because we were selling Chiesa or Bremer or Vlahovic. But that's when actually our transfer market probably will kick into the next gear. Because again, Pogba's back. Monday, all players should be back reporting to fitness for fitness tests, and then the 11th Tuesday, apparently that's what Allegri said, he will be back, and we start training for preseason, and it's getting close because tomorrow at noon, I think 12:30 my time, the schedule will be released for Serie A, so it's getting really really close. It's getting actually. It feels that it's going quickly, also because the season was longer because of the World Cup. But it's getting close, and some key positions need to be filled in, like ideally before we go to the on the tour. But that's I'm being very unrealistic. But like, if Sandro's gonna say yes or no, I don't really I care, but like he shouldn't be playing anyway. You need to get a left back. You need to get a right back, depending on where Weah's gonna play, obviously, and depending on the formation. That's the weird part. I've still no clue what the formation is gonna be, but you need a right winger or whatever you want to call it at this point, because you don't have one. And I want to say you need a midfielder, but like with the numbers of players we have, you don't. Numbers wise, Ravella's coming back, you don't. But the left back, right back situation, and the winger needs to be sorted out. But again, waiting. It's actually waiting until we actually sell players or move on players at this point. Um, but yeah, Sam is saying our Mercato was still because of the Giuntoli deal. I believe they're not gonna appoint Giuntoli. They are not gonna appoint Giuntoli and then say when they enters an office, oh yeah, we sold Chiesa when he wants to build around Chiesa. Example, maybe, but I'm assuming or I'm hoping they had those conversations even before he actually got released by Napoli. I hope they had some sort of talks about that, because it would be very extremely late and worrying if they actually showed up today and talked about what are we gonna do. It's like that would be actually insane. It's already a weird situation we're in, but that would be crazy. That Manna was not even working on what should be for next season. Like if they decided to show up today, have a meeting and basically sit down and talk about what actually are we gonna do in the coming seasons. I'll be that's extremely worrying. Like that's extremely worrying because the time is not adding up. Like I said, 4th of July, season starts in about a month and a half. Like you need to have planned these things kind of way in advance. You absolutely need. But I get what you're trying to say. I think it's because of the sales that are not happening at this moment in time. I think that's the biggest issue at this moment in time, if I'm being completely honest. But again, like it's a tough because usually at this moment in time, like go back to last season, not the season before with Locatelli, but the news was kind of popping off. Like it's a key moment where you can see the main targets, or you can you have a feeling like those are the main targets, and those are maybe the side targets for towards the end, or like options if the main targets are not realistic. But as of now, like the main target is Parisi, and that's about it. All the rest feels like it depends. Maybe not. Like it's a whole list of players, but the only real target where you feel like we should be ending up by we should end up signing that player is Parisi, and as of now that's kind of on hold, which I have a feeling it will kind of not explode, but like we will have something on Parisi maybe tomorrow towards the end of the week, something real. Not we are interested in him, because I think that's very obvious and clear. But that's actually the main target. Other than that, there are no real targets, and that's weird. Bremer goes, and you have a whole list of players potentially. You have Savic, but it doesn't feel like a real target. It feels like that's being pushed by the media and the fans rather than the club actually being in for Savic. And let's say Vlahovic goes, even those links are weak. It's a whole list and nothing feels real at this moment in time. So very, very weird situation, like very strange situation, but it is what it is. What else did happen today? Actually, not really much, but Giovanni Albanese spoke, and I'm not the biggest fan of his, but he brought up a point that I think we all are waiting for, and that's a Sanchez link from Betis Sevilla. I'll start off by saying I don't know who he is. I've never watched a single minute of him, so I don't know if he's good or he's bad. What I do know is that he was actually linked to the move to Napoli last season, but that didn't happen. But I think we're all waiting on Giuntoli to do these type of deals where we will sign players, or we will be in for players that you maybe never heard about, or never saw play. You heard about them, but never really saw them play. And I think at this moment in time, that's like that's what you need, like low key signing, not the biggest transfer fee, and they need to hit. That's also not really solely on Giuntoli. That's also on coaching. They need to uh, take off immediately. Like, you cannot sign as well, because that's a danger for Giuntoli. Like, he needs to keep in mind that this is not Napoli. This is Juve. The pressure, like, everything is so much bigger. Um, so he needs to keep in mind that the players he's bringing in, they need to have a long-term future. Like, missing is not really an option, because the pressure and the media attention and anything, the expectations from the fans is extremely high. Even though we know the situation is what it is, we know how we are as fans. Like, we're very impatient. Um, so it's good and well to sign these quote unquote unknown players, but in a normal situation, you have more money with us. You need to also be able to do the deals that are there. If you know who, how, with Pjanic, I'm just saying something. We know what you're gonna get with Pjanic when we sign them. Like, these type of signings, that is something he also needs to pull off. Obviously, this summer it's probably unrealistic, but like, moving forward, it cannot be 11 Sanchez's, because that's not gonna work. Like, it's not gonna happen that you get 11 Sanchez's or like 11 Zelinski's. That's probably not gonna happen. So let's see. But at this moment in time, that's kind of what we need. These type of deals. Fratesi to Inter is done. Yeah, I think that was kind of the feeling the moment Rabiot signed that deal. No clue who he is, but from what I've seen, he's a good player from people's opinion. But if he comes, we'll see. Yeah, I've never seen him play. I know he's in attacking mid because I looked it up. I'm not gonna lie. So no idea. I saw a transfer fee reported between 80 and 25. I saw something. I don't know if that's realistic, but maybe it's just a name. Like I said, easy link, because he was linked to Napoli and he was trying to bring him to Napoli. That didn't work. He's now back at Juve. Low on money. High profile players probably do not want to join now, and it's kind of an easy link to do. Also because it's Giovanni Owenese, and he has a news link every single hour basically, which is unrealistic as well. But let's see. I think we're all waiting for him to make these type of signings, right? So I cannot really criticize it. What I will criticize is if we are being linked with players like Hull, and again, I can be completely wrong, and he can turn out to be a fantastic player. But from what I've seen, he's very average. Like, he doesn't even play all the time for Spezia. So it's not because it's Giuntoli and he wants him that I will be sitting here and be like, oh yeah, I'll take whatever he wants to get, because I don't rate home, not at all, not one bit, to be honest. So if those links are coming out, I'm a bit concerned based on, like, isolate that link or like that player. If we sign him, I will be concerned. So I will be coming on and saying I don't like him, I don't understand it, and I don't understand why we're in for him. Like, he's cheap, he plays a position we need, but he's not that good. That's my biggest point with him. So again, not everything he will do will be great. Not everything he will try to do, I will kind of accept, if that makes sense, because I don't rate home. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, I don't like him. I don't like him. Di Marzio's is about to speak, but I'm not sure if he's gonna break some Juve news based on what happened today at the Continassa. Yeah, very happy we aren't going for Fratesi. Yeah, if you keep Rabiot, like, you did what you did. You thought about one season, not about the future. So I think Fratesi is a good player. He's cheap now because Inter struck a deal with Sassuolo and they helped and Roma. They helped Roma, and they're not getting investigated. When Cannavali came on TV and said, we're helping teams out. It's ridiculous. It is what it is. But that's my point. When I've said for months, about a year, stop spending money in Serie A. Stop handing out cash to these type of teams. Let them sell outside of Europe. Like those, there are players outside of Europe that are better and cheaper if you look hard enough. And that's why I'm actually putting a lot of hope in Giuntoli that he can pull these things off, that we don't need to spend 37 million for Locatelli, but we can spend 80 million euros for a Locatelli playing for Wolfsburg. I'm saying something. I'm just mentioning something, you know, or Salzburg. I don't know. These are the things I expect in the coming years, basically, rather than getting our pants pulled down by Sassuolo and those type of teams, because they don't care. They're not helping. Why are we helping those teams? I remember Marotta saying we spent over 200 million euros in the own league. We're helping out, and I'm like, why? Like, you're helping out by overpaying. That's what you're doing, you know, because we were not getting that deal from Sassuolo. No chance. But it is what it is, you know. That's why I'm always like, don't do it. You know, just look outside of the league, and it's gonna be as good or even better and cheaper. That's the most important thing. Home can say I'm home. We don't want him. Yeah, I don't rate him. Do you know which formation will we play next season? Is it the 3-5-2? I'm going with 3-5-2, but I've actually no clue. I have no clue. I'm actually very confused on the links reporting. You know how Allegri speaks. It's all over the place. Two players I would like us to be linked with are Sesko and Olsek. They are both young and fit. We're not getting Sesko. We're not getting Sesko, but those are the players we should be linked with. I get it, agree, but we're not being linked with those type of players. Also, because I think the price tag is it's not that steep. It's not gonna be extremely high, but we're just not being linked with those type of players. Like I saw a link yesterday with I forgot the name, the Lille player. I never heard about him, and you know that's the price that was mentioned was also worrying. Like it needs to stay in balance. You know, you can. It's good to be linked with Sanchez, but if it's 25 or 30 mil, then okay, you need to think twice, because that's not stealing a player anymore. But yeah, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover in this live, because again, no real news. I don't have a feeling anything will kind of break in the next coming hours, based on the day they had. It's just, again, repeating myself. It's waiting until the sales catch on and we start actually selling players. But you know, because up to that point, I don't think there's gonna be a lot to report on, if I'm being completely honest. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this live up, because otherwise I'm gonna repeat myself. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel. Go watch it daily if you haven't watched that as well. I will be live tomorrow, hopefully with some good solid news. Hopefully, let's see. But yeah, thanks for watching. And I will be back tomorrow, same time, hopefully with some more news. I will read out this last comment, and then I will leave. Do you rate Højlund? I think he's way too overpriced and doesn't offer anything better than Vlahovic. I hope we'll go for another striker if Dusan leaves. I think he's overpriced because he had a good few months. He's very physical. I don't know. When I see him play, I'm not like, okay. You know, I don't think he's bad, but I don't think, wow. You know, at this moment in time, yeah, I need to see more. But the price is insane. I'm being like, if we need to be honest, but let's see. I don't think we're in for him at this moment in time. But let's see. I think it's more Manu. Now I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna wrap it up again. Thanks for watching. Like the video. I will be back